faces it, and says, "Hello, lads." When he arrives at the mosque, he pulls into a side alley, remarking how quick the drive was. He gets out, opens the trunk, grabs another gun, and walks into the mosque's front courtyard. Two men are standing in the entryway, their backs to the gunman. He opens fire. The two men drop, and the killer moves inside. One of those victims is desperately trying to crawl away, leaving a trail of blood on a green carpet. The gunman walks up and fires point blank. And that was just the beginning. Our chief correspondent, Jonathan Hunt, is with us. He lived in Christchurch for 9 months.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me on my show. This is Michael Tobin. It is 12:03 p.m., March 15, 2019, and we got the VETO, New Zealand, and all kinds of news. I'm just going to play Fox News right now, and this is going to be for your reference.
Accuracy at anyone he sees, some running for their lives. Then he moves into the main prayer room. Two large groups of worshippers are already cowering in two separate corners. The gunman fires dozens of rounds into each group. One man appears to run at the gunman, but is shot at point-blank range. The shooter then turns his attention to the groups again, firing even more shots. He reloads several times. He walks back into the hallway and back into the main room. Many of the men there are already dead. Some appear to be wounded. The gunman walks slowly toward them, taking kill shots, finishing off his victims with bullets to the head or body. It is difficult to count the number of shots, but by our count, the gunman fires around 187 rounds within just the first 2.5 minutes of the attack. Once he leaves the mosque, he shoots several people on the street, including a woman wearing traditional Muslim dress. She is wounded. She lies in the street crying out for help. The gunman walks up to her and once again delivers the final shots directly to the woman's head. He then gets back in his car, drives over that woman's body, and continues to shoot other people from his vehicle. There is no sign at that point of any police officers. The video stops after about 16 gut-wrenching minutes, and by our count, 236 shots fired, Shep.
Jonathan, what more can you report on his writings, the lengthy writings that were posted online?
Well, this so-called manifesto is long, it's rambling in places, precise in others. The gunman makes his motivation very clear: intimidating, repelling, and killing what he repeatedly calls Muslim invaders. He says mass immigration is a threat to civilization, and at one point he poses the question to himself: are you a supporter of President Trump? His answer, quote, "As a symbol of renewed white identity and common purpose, sure. As a policymaker and leader, dear God, no." Police say they now have the gunman who streamed the video and two other people in custody. You can see officers arresting one of those three on this cell phone video after police rammed a vehicle. None of the three, according to officials, was on their terrorism radar in either New Zealand or Australia. New Zealand's Prime Minister said her country is a proud melting pot and immigrants add much to the community.
They have chosen to make New Zealand their home, and it is their home. They are us. The person who has perpetuated this violence against us is not. They have no place in New Zealand. There is no place in New Zealand for such acts of extreme and unprecedented violence.
The gunman also said in that manifesto that he hoped to go to trial where he will plead not guilty because in his view he was taking action against a, quote, occupying force. Leaders around the world, Shep, have refuted that idea, saying it was an act of pure hate and pure evil. Shep.
Jonathan Hunt with the details for us. Jonathan, thank you. Let's turn to Michael Sergel now, chief reporter for News Talk ZB in Auckland, New Zealand. To you and yours, sir, I'm so sorry. Can you give us an idea of the place where this happened and the people who were the victims?
Well, it occurred in some mosques in the central Christchurch, one of our largest cities, a city of quite a substantial size, and really just not a very short distance from where some of the worst consequences of the Christchurch earthquake happened just a few years ago. So it's an area that's already experienced loss, but it's not an area where you'd ever expect anything like this to ever happen.
Without naming him, can you tell us anything about the gunman?
Well, we understand that he was born in Australia. We understand that he was something of an extremist, certainly by New Zealand standards, and certainly not someone that represents common New Zealand values. I think everyone's just in absolute shock about this.
Well, I can imagine. I can't imagine how they wouldn't be. Tell us, if you could, about these particular mosques and what role they play in the communities.
Well, there's about 30 mosques around New Zealand, and they're quite sort of central to their communities. And we have a lot of refugees in New Zealand that are of Islamic faith, and that's a really sort of central part of their life and their community. And of course, there's also been Muslims in this country for over 100 years, so it's not something new. Islam's been a part of New Zealand culture for a very long time.
And it's a culture that, for lack of a better phrase, works and plays well together. It's not as if there are significant problems socially or otherwise across the country.
No, I'd say that New Zealand is sort of a very united country. We take a sort of a shall be right attitude. We're not sort of big on, political divides or cultural divides. People with different political persuasions, cultural affiliations, get on very well.
What's job one now for New Zealand to begin to make sense, or at least begin to move past this?
It's a tough one, because we've just never experienced anything like this. We always sort of see terrorism in other parts of the world, and more in sort of very different parts of the world. We never ever expected to see something like this here. And just in the last few moments, we've heard that 2 people are still fighting for their life. One of them, just a 4-year-old child in a critical condition, having to be transported to another hospital just to receive specialist care.
You shot at kids in those mosques?
Yes, women, children, a whole lot of people.
Well, our hearts are breaking for you. Michael Sergel, the chief reporter for ZB in Auckland. All the best, sir. Many thanks.
Thank you.
We're monitoring breaking news from the White House here in the United States, where the president is set to issue his first veto since he took office after a stunning rebuke from members of his own party. We'll hear from the Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace, and we'll hear from the president as he signs this veto. That's ahead on a Friday afternoon.
Shepherd Smith is brought to you by Miralax. It works with the water in your body to unblock your system naturally.
I switched to Miralax for my...
So go ahead and take a break, get yourself a drink, whatever. Go ahead and take the commercials and all. I'm at home getting ready for work right now, and this is what I have to do. And it would be much nicer, I always say, it would be much nicer if I could do this full time. With your help, I can. Currently, I'm allowed 3 hours for $29 a month for this thing, for this audio thing, and I can have unlimited downloads on this on the cloud on the cloud if I had the funds to do the monthly subscriptions and other things. I could just be broadcast unlimited amount pretty much of platforms, and I can be available all day long. I could even have 24 hours nonstop of Spreaker audio if I had the funds to be able to do that. So go ahead and check out. Take a little break. I'm getting ready for work right now, and I'm going to be out of here in about a half an hour. And by then, President Trump's first veto will be available for you for free download after this is done recording. And this is live. I'll be back.
What you don't see can hurt you. Today's connected world is full of threats you may not see if you just monitor your credit to help protect your identity. LifeLock sees more, like your personal information on the dark web. And now with the power of Norton, we detect threats like ransomware too, to help protect your identity and devices. Plus, if there's an identity theft problem, we'll work to fix it with our $1 million protection package. Get LifeLock with Norton, starting at $9.99 a month.
When you book at Hilton.com, you get the price match guarantee. So if you find your room at a lower rate, Hilton is like, we're going to match that rate and give you an extra 25% off. What would travel sites do if you found a different price? That's not my problem. It's your problem. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton price match guarantee. I'm not hungry! You're having one more bite. No! One more bite!
Kraft. For the win-win.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 What? It happens. And if you got cut-rate car insurance, paying for this could feel like getting robbed twice. So get all state. And be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Sometimes, bipolar 1 disorder makes you feel like you can do it all. But mania, such as unusual changes in your mood, activity, or energy levels, can leave you on shaky ground. Help take control by asking your healthcare provider about Vraylar. Vraylar treats acute mania of bipolar 1 disorder. Vraylar significantly reduces overall manic symptoms and was proven in adults with mixed episodes who have both mania and depression. Vraylar should not be used in elderly patients with dementia due to increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. High cholesterol, weight gain, high blood sugar, and decreased white blood cells, both of which can be serious or fatal, dizziness upon standing, falls, seizures, impaired judgment, heat sensitivity, and trouble swallowing may occur. Ask if Vraylar can help you get on track.
The breaking news from the White House now, a live look there where President Trump is about to use his veto power for the first time. Seems very happy to do it as well. Yesterday, a dozen senators from his own party helped pass a resolution to strike down his declaration of a national emergency at the southern border. It's a balance of powers matter. These are the 12 Republicans who voted with all Democrats in an attempt to stop the president from bypassing Congress to fund a border wall. Some GOP senators said yesterday's vote was about the separation of powers outlined in the Constitution. Obviously, the House of Representatives has the power of the purse. He went to the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives said no. In the normal circumstances, that would be that, but not in this case. The president has tried to go around them. He's still making that attempt. And they say, the Republicans who voted against him say this could set a dangerous precedent for future presidents. But both the House and the Senate came up short of the votes they need to override a presidential veto. So the question now, in fact, one that we've been pondering for the many months, will the courts end up deciding whether President Trump's national emergency declaration is okay under the guidelines of the Constitution? Let's turn to the Fox News Sunday host, Chris Wallace. You know, it's no surprise that we're here. Just the question is, who has standing will bring a suit, where and when?
Well, there are plenty of people who have standing. One question is whether or not Congress has standing, because they can say that this is not money that we appropriated and that you have decided to use it over our objections. And the fact that this vote, even though the veto won't be overridden, the fact that the House and the Senate voted resolutions of disapproval does even further the argument that Congress did not intend for the national emergency declarations to go this way. But there are also other people, landowners, various states. So there's no question this will get a hearing in the court. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And assuming that some judge, particularly out in the Ninth Circuit out west, decides to stay the president's emergency declaration, then it'll go up through the courts, the appeals courts, and all the way to the Supreme Court, which just might make this a hot issue right as we head into the 2020 general election campaign.
Which is rather convenient for someone who's been running on this topic for a long time.
Well, that's right. And in fairness to the president, he did make this a major article of faith between him and his supporters in the 2016 election. And win or lose on the national...
Sorry, the article of faith was that the Mexicans would pay for it. That was part of it.
Well, that's part of it, but also that the wall was going to be built. But in any case, the fact is that he can now go and say to his voters in 2020, look, I did everything I had to. I took it to Congress, declared it an emergency. They blocked it. I vetoed it. I took it to court. Let's just assume that a judge would stay it. I'm taking it through the court system, so it's a way of saying I really mean business, so I'll re-elect me so I can finally build this wall that I believe in and you believe in.
They just sent, they just sent some details of the stagecraft out, the sort of show that will be put on as part of this, and we've just been informed, Chris, that some border agents and the family members of some people who were killed by undocumented immigrants will flank the president as he signs and will speak as well.
Yeah, look, he wants to make the case that this is, we're talking about the politics. He's going to make the case this really is a national security and humanitarian crisis at the border. There was a huge uptick. 76,000 people apprehended on the border in February. I think it was the most in 11 years or something like that. Not even close to back in 2000 when 1.6 million people were crossing the border and being apprehended each year. But still, there has been a surge, and he's going to make the case on both a national security basis and a humanitarian basis. We need to have this wall. We've seen him do it before. He'll do it again, and obviously it plays to a lot of people in his base and a lot of people around the country. On the other hand, if you believe the polls, the majority of people are against the building of the wall and think that there are other ways to do it to secure the border.
Is that a sign, Chris, politically speaking? I would like your take on this, of whether he is now in a position where he's going to stay with the base, placate the base, and forget everybody else and just figure out a way come 2020.
You can't do it because there are just not enough votes in the base. I mean, it appears that from most of the polling that the 35-40% of eligible voters are what you would call ever-Trumpers, just solid red core Trump supporters. That's not enough to win an election. So he's going to have to expand his base. And one of the things that a lot of political experts have been wondering about is the president seems to have a lot of leeway with the base. As you pointed out, at one point, one of his promises was Mexico is going to build the wall. That seems to have been largely dispensed with now, and it doesn't seem to have bothered his base as long as he keeps faith on the idea of building the wall. But even with that base, it's not enough. You've got to expand it to independents. You've got to expand it to suburban Republicans, suburban women, persuadable Democrats. I mean, you look at where he won in 2016 in the suburbs, in the so-called blue wall of upper Rust Belt states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. You can't just do it with a base. You're going to have to expand. And, of course, one of the things that I think he's counting on is that he's either going to be able to portray, or the Democrats, in fact, will nominate someone who is so far to the left, the president would say a socialist, that it's going to make it easier for him. He doesn't have to pivot as far to the center because he'll say the Democrats have moved so far to their extreme left.
Yep, a lot ahead. Chris, I'm looking forward to Fox News Sunday this Sunday, as I do every Sunday. And this week, one of the candidates who would like to unseat the president will be Chris Wallace's guest. He'll speak with the Democratic presidential contender Pete Buttigieg, mayor of South Bend, Indiana. That's this Sunday on your local Fox station. And he'll see you on the next Fox News Sunday. Check your local listings. Should be a good one. Much more ahead on the massacre in New Zealand. We'll hear from survivors who managed to escape and the response from social media sites after the killers streamed live the video of the deadly shootings online. And of course, in addition, we're waiting for the president and his signing ceremony at the White House. Coverage of that ahead in this news hour.
Let's see. Aleve is proven better on pain than Tylenol Extra Strength and lasts longer with fewer pills.
So why am I still thinking about this?
I'll take Aleve.
Aleve, proven better on pain.
Your digestive system has billions of bacteria, but life can throw them off balance. Realign yourself with Align Probiotic. And try Align Gummies with prebiotics and probiotics to help support digestive health.
That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see how Geico could help you save on homeowners insurance.
Nice tip. I'll give you $2 for the chair.
2? That's a Victorian antique.
All right. How much for the recliner, then?
Wait. How did that get out here? That is definitely not for sale.
Is this a yard sale?
If it's in the yard, then it's for sale.
Here we go.
Geico. It's easy to switch and save on homeowners and renters insurance. Attention oxygen therapy users. If you've been chained to an oxygen tank, then you know they're a burden. Tanks keep you from living the life you love.
I was on oxygen tanks, and I couldn't go anywhere, do much of anything. I didn't dare go far.
It's time to reclaim your independence with an Inogen One oxygen concentrator. Inogen makes its own oxygen from the air around you, so you'll never worry about running out of oxygen again.
I wasn't going to run out of oxygen ever, and it was like freedom. I got my life back. I really love my Inogen.
The Inogen One G4 is lightweight and compact. Plus, it's battery operated, so you can have oxygen anytime, anywhere.
Oh, do I think Inogen is worth the money? You better believe it's worth every single penny of it.
Call now for your free information kit. There's no obligation. Inogen. Oxygen anytime, anywhere.
Call 1-800-513-5769. That's 1-800-513-5769. Call now for your free information kit.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and free shipping. That's right, 30% off and free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Smollett stand as the prosecutor lays out their case, but Jesse pleads not guilty. How will it all play out in court? Shannon takes us inside on Fox News at Night.
Don't let slow internet hold your business back. Make the easy switch to Cox Business. Call today and see how far your business can go when you get fast, reliable internet with fiber-fueled speeds up to 10 gigs. And the online backup and security features you need to know your data is protected. Call and get internet that operates at the speed of business. Don't wait. Your business deserves the best. Get this limited offer when you switch to Cox Business today.
It's giveaway weekend at More Furniture. Get a special free gift with any purchase. And give the gift of supporting disaster relief in your community. And for a limited time, enjoy 15% off. Or get 72 months no interest financing. And feel great about a purchase that helps communities recover from disaster. So go on. Live with more for less. Find your style at morefurniture.com.
Continuing to wait for the president to speak as he signs his first veto, and we're now told to expect the president to talk about New Zealand's terror attack. Just minutes ago, he tweeted that he has spoken with the country's prime minister and offered assistance as needed. We're expecting the president to speak to reporters in the next few minutes, and we'll bring it to you. The prime minister there in New Zealand says her country has just experienced one of its darkest days after 49 people were gunned down inside 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch.
Excuse me, before the narrative begins on this big shooting in New Zealand, this is New Zealand's event, not the United States, and it would behoove the American politicians to not hijack New Zealand's event in this case. But as always, mainstream media, especially Shepard Smith, they jump on these narratives. So again, it would behoove our American mainstream media to not try to hijack another country's events for their own goals. Okay, back to mainstream media, Fox News.
Then there are the heroes who ran toward the mosque as the victims were running away. They were able to help a 5-year-old girl who'd been shot and was being held by her father, who had also been shot. The heroes got both victims into an ambulance. When the shooting finally stopped, neighbors and witnesses began setting up a makeshift triage, trying to make sure that those who were severely injured got the first ambulances and, of course, the fastest medical care. Shep.
Trace, there's still really very little information about the victims at this point.
Yeah, clearly Christchurch has never seen anything like this, and by all accounts, this has put a very heavy strain on the city's resources. So they're still in the process of trying to notify the families and then locate the missing people. We do know the victims come from all over the world: Egypt, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, even Syrian refugees who fled violence in their home country, only to be victims of violence in New Zealand. Some people believe this is a byproduct of anti-Muslim rhetoric, but the leader of a mosque in Auckland says Muslims have been in New Zealand for hundreds of years and have always been an essential and appreciated part of the country's fabric. And a story I want to share that's making headlines around the world is about the worshiper who was among the first to be targeted. The man is being hailed as a hero because he shared peaceful and courageous words. As the gunman was coming toward him, the man was heard on the live stream video saying, quote, "Hello, brother." They were his final words. Shep.
Trace Gallagher reporting for us on the tragedy in New Zealand. Facebook is facing criticism over that massacre after the shooter was able to live stream his slaughter of innocent people. A spokeswoman for the social media giant says they're working to delete any praise or support for the attack, and that they quickly removed the shooter's video and also his Facebook and Instagram accounts. Jillian Turner spoke to Facebook about this today. She's live at the State Department. Jillian?
That's right, Chip. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube all failed to stop the viral spread of the shooter's live stream, as well as that 87-page-long manifesto he posted online just a few minutes before his attack. Facebook took 17 minutes to take down that live stream. It showed the shooter driving to Al Noor Mosque, parking his car, entering, and then ultimately carrying out the shooting spree. Facebook took a further hour and a half to shut down the shooter's account, and the Facebook Watch platform continued to host versions of the video for several more hours. In a statement to Fox News, Facebook says, quote, "We quickly removed both the shooter's Facebook and Instagram accounts and the video." And Facebook's website proclaims, "We don't allow mass murderers to maintain a presence on Facebook and Instagram, and will also delete content that praises or supports the shooter or the horrific act as soon as we're aware." Meanwhile, YouTube and Twitter not faring any better. They both continue to host versions of the shooter's video for multiple hours, including on Twitter's autoplay feature. This means some viewers may have been exposed to the gruesome footage without any advance warning. Google-owned YouTube says they rely on specially developed, quote, smart detection technology to identify this type of content, and they tell Fox News, quote, "Shocking, violent, and graphic content has no place on our platforms." All of this raising new concerns today for American big tech and the role that social media companies are playing in publicizing terrorism and violence. Now, Shep, tech experts tell Fox News that despite years of these social media companies promising to do more and do better, keeping terrorism off social media is still like a game of whack-a-mole. Jeff.
Jillian Turner reporting from the White House, from the State Department. This is the White House. A live look. I've just gotten word that in the last, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, the White House press pool got word to come in for this event. So we're expecting the president to issue his first veto at any minute now. We're going to get a quick commercial break in, and then we'll have that for you. We'll get a live report from Capitol Hill as well, where Congress can try to override the veto, but will it? All ahead. Stay with us.
Which is the only egg good enough for my family? Only Eggland's Best. With more farm fresh taste, more vitamins, and 25% less saturated fat, only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Getting to a comfortable retirement doesn't have to be an uncomfortable thought. See how Lincoln can help you retire on your terms at LincolnFinancial.com.
The world's newest ocean cruise line is yet again a world's best. Viking's elegant ships deliver a superb, inclusive experience with enriching shore excursions, alternative dining, or veranda staterooms, Wi-Fi, and much more. We're very proud to have been named a world's best 3 years in a row by Travel and Leisure readers. Learn more at vikingcruises.com.
Hiring was always a huge challenge. Endless hours on job sites with not a lot to show for it. Then, I found ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring. I post my job, they put it all over the web, and they send me the right people, because their technology is smart. ZipRecruiter often sends me the right person in 24 hours.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/box.
We really love the holidays at Graham Graham's, but it's tough to
relax.
The Dish guy heard us. Said with the Dish Anywhere app, we could bring the comfort of our home TV with us. That put us right at ease.
Upgrade to Dish and take your home TV anywhere.
This is Golden Corral's hand-cut sirloin, now topped with delicious shrimp scampi. And here's the premium butterfly shrimp and the teriyaki salmon. Get it all, plus the entire buffet for one low price. There's something for everyone at Golden Corral.
Are you thinking of buying a stair lift? This essential free guide will answer all your questions. You can find out how a stair lift can improve your life in a few easy steps with this free guide packed full of detailed information. All of your questions answered. What should I think about when buying a stair lift? What type of stair lift will suit my home? What difference can a stair lift make in my life? Answers to these and many more with this free guide to buying a stair lift. A stair lift can be crucial to you staying independent in your own home. They were invented to make your life easier. And this free practical guide, produced with the help of Acorn Stair Lifts, will make it easier for you to choose the one that's right for you. So call now, 1-800-908-1851 for your free copy of your guide to buying a stair lift and have all of your stair lift questions answered today. 1-800-908-1851.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Ready to treat differently with a pill? Otezla. Show more of you.
Another look live at the White House. Any moment we're expecting the president to issue his first veto, a day after the Republican-controlled Senate voted to end the national emergency he declared to pay for his southern border wall. John Roberts reporting. He's live at the White House. John?
Shep, good afternoon to you. Getting some notes in from the pool spray going on right now in the Oval Office. The president talked about his conversation with Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, saying that he expressed his condolences. These places of worship have turned into scenes of horrible killings, that he's promised the Prime Minister any assistance that the United States can provide. The president's also talking about the veto, which he has not put pen to paper just yet, but he will in the next few minutes. Remember, 12 Republican senators voted against this in a stunning rebuke, not to the president's border wall, because most, if not all of those senators support him on the border security, but just on the president circumventing the congressional appropriations process. But the president giving attaboys and attagirls to the senators, 41 of which who stuck with him through this, tweeting out this afternoon, "I'd like to thank all of the great Republican senators who bravely voted for strong border security and the wall. This will help stop crime, human trafficking, and drugs entering our country. Watch when you get back to your state. They will love you more than ever before." The president insisting that he does have the authority to use emergency powers to build a border wall, and across the administration, officials are speaking with one voice about what they say is a crisis on the border. Here's the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo.
I've spent a lot of time with my Mexican counterparts. This challenge at our southern border is real. I believe it's a crisis, but call it what you will. The challenge of not knowing who's coming in and out of our country and what drugs or people or illicit materials might be coming across our southern border is real. We need to take serious action against it, and the president's executive order does just that.
Now, the House has already planned an override vote. They will take that vote on March the 26th. They likely don't have the two-thirds majority needed to override the president's veto, though. And there's no plans for a veto override vote in the Senate. So really what the House will be going through is basically just an exercise. It's a big moment for the president. It is the first veto of his administration. Here's how he stacks up compared to previous presidents. President Obama vetoed 12 bills. One of those was overridden. George W. Bush vetoed 12. 4 of those were overridden. Bill Clinton, 37, with 2 overridden. George H.W. Bush, 41. He had 44 vetoes. 1 was overridden. President Reagan, 78, with 9 overridden. But all of that pales in comparison to Franklin Roosevelt, who vetoed 635 bills. 372 of those were traditional vetoes, where he signed the veto order, 263 of which were pocket vetoes, where basically the president just doesn't take any action during a time when Congress is adjourned, and then after 10 days, the bill fails. So the president will be putting pen to paper very soon, Shep, if he hasn't already in the last couple of minutes.
There are other efforts, I understand, to block this emergency declaration.
Yeah, we saw what happened in Congress over the last couple of weeks, but there are also myriad lawsuits. The ACLU, Earth Justice have filed private lawsuits against the president's emergency declaration. 21 states have banded together to try to block it as well. So far, no court opinions on any of that. A lot of those suits, of course, have been filed in jurisdictions where the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has the jurisdictional oversight. And the president usually doesn't fare well in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Let's not forget, too, though, Shep, that even without this emergency declaration, the president's got about $4 billion with which he can build border barrier. That's good for anywhere between 70 to 90 miles of border wall, depending on how far they can stretch a dollar. Shep?
All right, John, waiting for the ceremony. We'll have it momentarily, we believe. Thank you. Congress does have the power to override a presidential veto, as John mentioned, but has been successful only 4% of the time that it's tried. It requires 2/3 votes in both the House and the Senate, which means 67 votes in the Senate. 12 Republican senators ended up voting with the Democrats yesterday to block the president's national emergency, but it passed with 59 votes, so that's short of the 2/3 magic number. Could they come up with more? Mike Emanuel reporting. He's live on Capitol Hill. Hey, Mike.
Shep, good afternoon. We don't expect congressional Democrats to let this go. Last time we saw House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she was signing the bill that rejects the president's national emergency declaration before it was sent off to the White House. A House Democratic leadership aide tells Fox the House vote to override the president's veto is likely to occur on Tuesday, March 26th, and the Senate Democratic leader says his side is not giving up this fight. Doing everything possible to fight the president on his border wall, Shep.
And how are Republicans dealing with this divide?
Well, as you mentioned, there were 12 Senate Republicans who voted against the president on this, one being Roy Blunt from Missouri, who says, quote, there are several existing authorities that could be used to support what President Trump wants to do at the border without creating a court case or declaring an emergency. I have encouraged him to use those authorities. Florida Senator Rick Scott was on the other side supporting the president and says he understands the president's frustration.
The Democrats are it's just a pure hatred of the president. They just say they don't want the president to have a win. Well, the truth is, Americans need to have a win. The win would be have border security. I think everybody that's voting on this should have gone down the border and sat down with border security like I did and said, what do you need? And they say, they're very consistent. They need people, they need better technology, and they need barriers.
What made a lot of Senate Republicans uncomfortable was this showdown coming on one of the president's biggest promises to build that border wall, Shep.
All right, Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill. Thank you. A live look there at the White House. The get-together has begun. This, as it turns out, is one of those events where the pool will video this, and then they'll play the video out for all the television networks. And when that happens, we'll have it for you. The signing has not yet happened. The president is speaking. More to come. Events ahead.
I switched to Miralax for my constipation. Stimulant laxatives forcefully stimulate the nerves in your colon. Miralax works with the water in your body to unblock your system naturally, and it doesn't cause bloating, cramping, gas, or sudden urgency. Miralax. Look for the pink app.
What's better than our golden fried Alaskan whitefish? Our new golden fried thick cut Alaskan whitefish. For a limited time, get a 2-piece basket or a sandwich combo for only $5.99. Because thicker is better at Long John Silver's.
What is love? 2 hearts, 1 soul, a kiss, a hug, a laugh. It's passion, it's freedom, it's mystery, it's the journey and the destination. It's vows made and promises kept. It's a feeling, a need, no rules. All included, all unlimited. Feed your hunger, quench your thirst, live your dreams. Fulfilled, indulged, reborn. What is love? Love is all you need. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
America's #1 meal kit company can get you prepping like a pro, cooking a mean burger, dinner done in 30. HelloFresh delivers award-winning taste week after week. Use code TV80 to get $80 off. HelloFresh, get cooking.
It was time to update the bathroom. But we wanted to work with a company we could trust. Rebath gave us the bathroom we always wanted.
Call 866-5...
The National Emergency Declaration, voted down with GOP support. Congress splits with the president. Now, what does it mean for his party? Chris gets insight on Fox News Sunday.
Valley View Casino and Hotel has an exciting offer for guests who join San Diego's most generous Players Club. Sign up and receive $10 in free slot play instantly. Then play and earn a free Maine Lobster buffet as an added bonus. Joining the club is quick, easy, and free. And Valley View is where you can win exclusive getaways, new cars, and cash prizes up to $500,000. Plus, join the Players Club in March and receive a free voucher for an OG's flatbread of your choice. Visit valleyviewcasino.com.
This is Scan Health Plan. Scan is different. Compared to some of the other plans, we're small, but we're mighty. We are not-for-profit. Everything is focused on the members.
If you call up the person on the floor up there, they're going to answer the phone, and they're going to say,
"Thank you for calling Scan. This is Stanley. How can I assist you?" We're here for you. I can't say any more than that. That's Scan Health Plan.
If you're new to Medicare, have both Medicare and Medi-Cal, or have been diagnosed with certain chronic conditions, you may qualify to join SCAN now. Call or ask your broker about SCAN today.
Time for a new water heater? Bill Howe Plumbing has installed over 25,000 water heaters in San Diego. Call Bill Howe, San Diego's most trusted plumber since 1980. Plus, Bill Howe Plumbing will quote your new water heater over the phone, saving you time and money. So whether you are looking at a traditional tank or a tankless water heater, Bill Howe has the experience you can trust. For the great service and pricing you have come to expect, you know who to call.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. Because we know how.
If you're selling your home, check out UpNest, a free service that lets you find a great agent and save big.
You know, I thought about selling my home myself. Then I read about UpNest. I got similar savings and the price I wanted, hassle-free.
Within 48 hours, I was comparing 4 customized agent proposals with services and fees side by side.
After 5 days on the market, I had 4 offers and sold 10% over asking price.
When agents compete, you win. Try your free service at upnest.com.
Continuing coverage now, the event is underway at the White House. I have nothing to indicate yet that the veto has happened, but we're going to hear from the president on a number of different subjects in just a minute. Our senior Capitol Hill producer, Chad Pergram, is up there. There's a lot ahead. This isn't the end of it.
That's right. Well, you know, we're told that the veto override attempt will happen on March 26th. The House and Senate are out next week. And, Shep, this will only go to the House. Under the Constitution, bills, once they're vetoed by the president, if they are sent back to Capitol Hill, they are sent back to the body of origination. So this originated in the House. It was passed in the House. It went over to the Senate. The Senate passed it yesterday. Nancy Pelosi signed it. The president vetoes it, sends it back up to Capitol Hill. Now, there was some discussion yesterday here on Capitol Hill, Shep, as to whether or not they they would go through the entire process and attempt a veto override. The House isn't at full population right now, not at 435 members, so the threshold to override on this is about 285. When they passed this in the House a couple of weeks ago, they came 40 votes short. They had 245 yeas. So there was a question as to whether or not the House, just because they didn't have the votes, would they try it? But number two, could this be a bad political vote for freshman moderate members from battleground districts to take a vote on that, saying, hey, we're going to vote to try to override the president's veto? Keep in mind that there are 31 Democrats in the House who represent districts that President Trump carried. Now, the flip side of that is you could be trying to put pressure on Republicans. Are they going to stand with the president or not? Democrats had unanimity when this moved through the House of Representatives a couple weeks ago. There were 13 defections on the Republican side who voted with the Democrats. There are only 3 Republicans, Shep, who represent districts that were carried by Hillary Clinton. So, Nancy Pelosi might just be trying to say, all right, we're going to run through the process here. The last time there was a failed override attempt in the House was early 2016. Paul Ryan tried to move through a veto override on a bill to repeal Obamacare that President Obama had vetoed. They knew it was going to come up short, but Paul Ryan kept saying, we're just going to run out the string here. We're going to go through the process. And that seems to be, Shep, precisely what Nancy Pelosi is doing in this case.
It isn't largely this, or at least in part, a matter of who captures the narrative here. I mean, there's the one from the president that says, vote with me, vote for security. And then there's the one from the other side that says, look, we're all for border security. We have different ideas about how it should happen. But this vote is about the Constitution, which says that the House controls the purse strings and makes those decisions, the balance of power, depending on which of those narratives sort of wins the day.
Yes, it's certainly an effort to try to put some of those Republicans on notice, and if Nancy Pelosi can continue to build that case against President Trump, it helps whoever is the nominee in 2020, so that's part of it. There's a saying in British politics, it's called cakeism, have your cake and eat it too, and what you're seeing from a lot of congressional Republicans, they want the border wall, they don't want to use the national emergency, yet they're very concerned about pirating some of that money away from these 4 different spending pots from programs they like. So
all right, folks, thank you again for joining me. We've been going on for about 46 minutes while I've been getting ready for work. Right now, it is 12:48 p.m. Pacific time, March 15th, 2019. And you got a lot of information right there. Pre-bill vote, the pre-bill veto by President Trump. His first veto, and maybe it won't be a veto. I'm just wondering if there's a plan B and he may just sign it and then do something else. If so, you heard it from me first. And thank you for joining me. This is Michael Tobin. President Trump. Our news. And I'm going to work. And I hope you enjoy this. Go ahead and download it, and you can hear the pre-veto information. Lots of reference material there for you. So I'm going to work, and as always, please keep me in prayer that I can do this 24 hours a day. I can broadcast anywhere, anytime, for as long as I want with the proper backup. So God bless you guys, and have a wonderful day.